Okay. Hello, CQ. Calling CQ. CQ calling CQ, the Old Friends Net. The Old Friends Net is an amplitude modulation net that meets here on 3715, Sundays at 5 p.m., Tuesday and Thursdays at 8 a.m. Anybody that can generate an amplitude modulation signal is welcome to check in. This is N4LQ, and we'll be listening for check-ins.
Good afternoon, Steve, WA4LLR.
KZ4 Bravo.
WB4ARK.
W4KR.
November 4 Alpha Kilo.
WF2U.
WB4NKM.
KG4IUQ.
WA4FJQ.
K4JAL.
W4DCS.
W4MEC.
Okay. I think I had a double right at the beginning with John, KZ4B. So here's what I have. I've got WA4LLR and then KZ4B and a double, and WB4ARK, WB4NKL, W4KR, N4AK, WF2U, WB4NKM, KG4IUQ, WA4FJQ, K4JAL, W4DCS, and W4MEC. Nice sized crowd there today. So who did I miss back there at the beginning? Was it perhaps George? George, are you out there? Nope, I didn't. Did anybody hear anything that can fill for me?
This is Doug, WN4PFI.
All right, Doak, WN4PFI at the tail end. Anybody else? I saw a carrier and heard no modulation. We'll give you another chance. Give her a try. Anybody hear anything? Nope. Seems like every net there's one that doesn't have any modulation. Well, let's see. Down the list again, just to be sure we get it right. LLR and KZ4B, ARK, NKL, KR, AK, F2U, NKM, IUQ, FJQ, JAL, DCS, MEC, and PFI. Do we have any more check-ins?
Maybe crank up the audio a little there, Steve.
Okay, I heard you. What was the call? Well, you said crank up the audio, and now I don't hear anything. Try one more time. Well, did anybody recognize the voice?
That was me, Steve, W4DCS. I was just saying, crank up the audio a little bit. It's probably bad band conditions.
Oh, all right, he wants me. I'll kick in my afterburner there. How's that? Okay. So, yeah, it's 69 degrees here. Got some clouds in the sky. We received an inch of rain last night, and that was welcome. And yeah, some of the signals are weak. The weakest signal was Buddy, of all things, who's just down the road from us here. So it's kind of weird conditions, but I'm sure it'll get worse as time goes on. So, Dave, go ahead and take it. WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All right, fine business. N4LQ. And the group, WA4LLR. Good afternoon to everybody. Copying everybody good. We got 62 degrees and partly to mostly cloudy up here. Running the Johnson 500, receiving on the NC183D, courtesy of Steve. And I just happen to have the matching speaker for it, Steve, so it's I'm enjoying some of that good audio. Anyway, good church service this morning. Had a couple of missionaries from Peru, and we went out to eat afterwards. Had some Mexican food. We gave them an option, and that's what they went with, so had a good time. Anyway, let's go down to John. KZ4B, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR in the group. This is KZ4 Bravo. Fine business, Dave. Dave, you and Steve are weaker than usual, but both Q5. Handle here's John, QTH is Lake Norman, transmitting on the usual T150, driving a Ameritron AL82, in turn feeding a resonant dipole up about 75 feet at the apex. I have been troubleshooting that amplifier that I bought at the Raleigh Hamfest. The amplifier supply and a pair of 3500Zs, and it's a mid-80s vintage unit. And when I fired it up with no drive, it has a dummy load on it. When I keyed the amp, although whether it's keyed or unkeyed, after the tubes warmed up just a matter of seconds, the plate meter pegged full scale at 1,000 milliamps. So I am assuming that the IMAC 3500Zs are gassy. We would welcome opinions. It's pegged whether it's keyed or not, so that tells me the tubes are probably gassy. I've got the cover off, so looking at the tubes, I don't see the usual blue, and there's no arcing. It's just drawing 1,000 mils. It's not drawing enough current to blow the fuse, at least if you turn it off quickly. But so that's my assumption. I would assume that if the tubes were good, that with the amp keyed, it would idle at about 160 milliamps for a pair of 3500Zs. And but being gassy, it pegs because it's conducting. Now, if that's the case, could I not possibly try to rejuvenate the tubes by disconnecting the plate leads and just leaving the filament on maybe for several days to see if the getter will take the gas out of the tubes. How does that sound? And would that hurt the grid in any way? I would assume not. It's not a screen grid, it's a control grid. And another question is, I've got a large, relatively speaking, a large quantity of 4-400s. And back in the day, I built a grounded grid amplifier using 4-400s and tied the screen grid to the control grid and used them like a poor man's 3-500Zs, and it worked. But the question is, if I just plugged a 4-400 in that socket, that means the screen grid, say, is floating. If that's the case, does anybody have a clue how much current it should draw if the tubes aren't gassy? So anyway, you know, I've got a pair of brand new 3-500Zs, but I don't want to plug them in, thinking that I definitely don't want to damage the tubes in case there's some other problem with the amplifier. So I'm a little hesitant to stick it in, but if I plug them in and they work okay, would they not draw around 160 mils with the amplifier key? Because that would be the unexcited resting plate current. So all comments are welcome. I need feedback because I am trying to resurrect this grounded grid linear amplifier. So over to Buddy, WB4ARK in the group KZ4B, over.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. Pull one tube at a time. Be ready to kill the power if it goes full scale. Well, I'm on the 32V3 today, running about 50 watts to the antenna. So, not sure how I'm going to be received, but we got good modulation. It looks like maybe we got a problem. I'm not sure. Could be we have a problem. I'm not positive about that. We'll just have to see how I'm being received here. The pictures were real good, Charlie. I've got a. It answers. I mean, it brings up more questions than answers. So I'm wondering about the ALC zero potentiometer. Now that is supposed to be when you open the lid, and it'll be on the left-hand side, about 3 inches inside of the unit, over next to the crystals, and it's between tube 203 and 202. It's a large pot mounted above the chassis. That looks like what is in a KWS-1 that has that uses that as the zero potentiometer, and then the control on the front, instead of being ALC control, is the key switch. So test key. So I wonder if yours has actually a test key switch, which would be called the ALC adjust, would be between the band switch knob and the audio adjust, audio gain. So that actually is that actually a speed, a switch, or is it a continuous potentiometer about 270-degree rotation? Just curious about that. So anyway, that's the deal. We have blue sky with white puffing clouds. We had 4 inches of rain last night, and so we'll turn it over to WB4NKL. This is WB4ARK.
Okay, buddy, WB4ARK, WB4NKL, on the BC610 again today. 66 degrees, and we had quite a bit of unsettled weather there over the last couple of days. About an inch of rain total. Last night we had a lot of wind, took the power down for about 4 hours. About bedtime, so we went to bed, and lights woke us up right there at 2 o'clock in the morning when it come back on. John, that sounds like a good idea on my buddy 412 at the time to see what happens. And, I don't think you can rejuvenate those with just filament power. You need to actually get enough heat to get the plate a little dull red and leave it in that condition for a while. And you can do that by tying the grid to the plate. If you got a variable DC, tie the grid to the plate and crank some voltage into it. And it won't take much voltage, but the grid tied to the plate. I think when you get up a couple hundred volts, it's going to start pulling some current. And if you got enough current there to heat it up, to turn the plates a little bit dull red, and just leave it in that condition for a while. But that depends on whether you got a good DC supply or not. And I have run the 4400s in a SB220. Just you got to ground that screen. Just make sure that the screen pin's grounded too, and they'll work okay. Not quite as much power as 3500s, but takes a little more drive. They'll work okay because I have run them in the SB220. So send it on down to go ahead, W4KR, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff, thank you. And WB4NKL, W4KR. Good afternoon, everybody. Temperature here in Walhalla this afternoon is 69 degrees. It's sunny. It was quite cloudy and foggy early this morning, but that cleaned up about 9 o'clock, and then it turned right nice. Temperature early this morning was in the very high 50s, 58 or 59, somewhere in there, and then now it's gotten up to 69. John, the plate voltage has something to do with that also, as far as the resting zero bias plate current. It's going to depend on the plate voltage. In the for what it's worth column, the Kenwood 922, which has a resting plate voltage of about 3K, 3,3100 right in there, and it'll drop down to around 2,700 at full load. The zero drive resting plate current is about 200 mils, and that's fairly typical. With that, there've been some long transmissions, so we'll just drop it right at that. And Glenn, good afternoon, sir. How you doing, neighbor? And N4AK, this is W4KR.
Okay, W4KR. This is November 4 Alpha Kilo. Neighbor, am I on frequency all right, over?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, I didn't check my VFO before I got on the air today. I'm copying everybody fine. Signal's pretty good. Temperature over here at sunset, 69 degrees. It's partly cloudy. I'm on a Sirius boat anchor again today. I'm on the DX100, D104, 100 watts, HQ129 X-ray G5 RV. And John, sounds like you got an interesting thing going there, but when I had the SB221, it's wired for 220, but still I had a transformer here, so I still reduced the 220 volts going in and let the filaments burn in the tube for 24 hours or more. But I don't know, it may be too late for you now. But I would never fire up even the new tubes out of the box without letting the filaments a while to warm things up in there and maybe get some gas out. Who knows? But NKL is probably the expert here on this group. I'm not sure. So I'm interested to hear the other comments. So Mir, WF2U and 4AK.
Yeah, right. Glenn, you're 400 cycles high, but that's close enough.
This is WF2U. Good afternoon, everybody. A nice day, 67 degrees, and some work outside. Running the Jesus station. I ran in here like 3 minutes before the net started. I figured by the time something with more tubes is getting warmed up, I'll be late. So the transmitter just has the driver and the finals. It's a hybrid, so didn't take that long to warm up, especially not to stabilize, because everything else is solid state. The receiver is solid state, and the ISO amplifier is instant warm up, so I was on time. That was cutting it close. But anyway, so as I said, I'm using the ISO station that I've been using a lot lately for the same reason as today. And the signals are not too bad. I think the vent is not fully booming, but signals are pretty good. Steve, you 20/9. So far I have Dave at +10, and John +5. Buddy is little QSB between 8 and 9 and has some audio problems. Some oscillations, but it was on audio. And Cliff S8, steady S8, Stan 5/9, and Glenn is also about 5/9. So I'm sure in a little while it's going to go, the signal levels are going to go a little bit higher. So with that, oh yeah, and the antenna is an end-fed halfway for 80 meters. So with that, Larry, pick it up, WB4NKM and the group WF2U.
WF2U, WB4NKM. Okay, Mayor, that's Yazoo Station sounding good in Virginia. Well, good afternoon to everybody. This is Larry up in Wise, Virginia. Band conditions are good on some people and kind of lower than what I expected on others. I'm running the Johnson Ranger, driving Maritron 811 amplifier, receiving on HQ170A Hammerman. And I do have a different microphone. This microphone I picked up down at the Greenville Hamfest, and this is the first QSO I've made on it. So I see the meters bouncing, but I don't know how it sounds. It's a D104, and had pretty good vinyl. That's the only thing I bought from it, I think. But had a good time down at the Hamfest with all the guys and eating out. Dave, your Johnson 500 sounds excellent up here. Got some QSB on everybody, but maybe that's because of the weather. And Cliff, the BC610 is doing a great job. Sounding good up here. Glenn, the DX100 is really, I think you're king of the hill. That thing, we'll go clean each other. So that's about all I've got here. It's 59 degrees, kind of brisky out there, and cloudy and subsiding. Over to you, Mark. KG4IUQ, WB4NKM.
This is KG4IUQ. Thank you very much, Larry. Well, everybody seems to be sounding good right now. Good band conditions. Steve, LQ, you sound fine. And Dave, LLR, you know, you're sounding really good with the Johnson 500, and it sounds like you had a good day. Had some missionaries at the church from Peru, and you went out to eat. Had a good time, sounds like it. John K. set for Bravo, troubleshooting an amplifier, T150 transmitter, and your dipole, 75 feet. You're sounding really good. ARK, buddy, you came in, at first you were light, and then it improved. It seems like it was okay after about 30 seconds. Cliff, WB4NKL with the BC610, you're sounding very good. Recently you had a storm. Power was down for about 4 hours. Really good sound your station has there. Stan KR in Wall Hollow, sounding good. And Glenn N4AK, sound great with the DX100, D104 mic, and the G5RV. And you said something there. You said something like this idea of putting tubes in, I think it's final tubes, and that you would leave them in the transmitter or amp, I'm not sure. And that it would be like running on the filaments for a while. I'm going to say that you were talking about a day or something like that, and I wonder about that, because I was told one time when I bought some tubes for an amplifier that it was recommended that I put them in and leave them in there for about 24 hours, no key down, and I wonder if you're talking about the same thing. Mayor WF2U, sounding really good with the Yaesu station. WB4NKM, Larry in Virginia with the Johnson Ranger, you sound really good. Okay, I'm going to turn it over now to Tom, WA4FJQ. This is KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ, WA4FJQ. Okay, well, hello, everybody. Tom in High Point. Yeah, the rig here is the Collins, receiving on the Collins 75S3C. And the transmitter is a multi-LMAC AF68 feeding signal into Tentec Centurion. I'm not sure what we're putting out, probably about 200 watts carrier or so spiking up around 800 on peaks and whatever. The reception here is terrible for me. QSB up and down. Everybody comes in nice and strong, and it sounds great, and then they disappear. So I picked the front of the receiver up and dropped it about an inch, thinking I got a bad connection someplace, and I still think I probably have that, because the reception is just really awful for me. But at any rate, John, about those tubes, you might want to talk to Charlie about it. He tried to resurrect some 3500s in this Centurion. He knows what he's doing with that, and I think he worked on it for about a week and never could get them back to where they needed to be, so we just put some new tubes in there. She's been running fine ever since. Well, I'm not sure if you're hearing me, because I may have a bad coax connection somewhere in this line. I'm going to turn it down to Jimmy, K4JAL. This is WA4FJQ.
W4FJQ K4JAL. Well, I'm on the 32V2 and listening on the Collins 75A4. About 90 watts through a Cobra that's up about 50 feet high on the apex. I really like this little rig. It was the first AM rig I brought online. No, the second. Oh well. I think it goes to Doug, but I'm not really sure. Steve, correct me if I'm wrong, but W4DCS K4JAL. Hey, Doug.
Yeah, K4JAL W4DCS. Winston-Salem. And I'm on the I'm making a couple of adjustments here. I'm on the Orlando Ranger into an SP2. No, it's a Swan Mark II that I have been working on. Let me back this thing down a little bit here. It's just a little on the hot side. So I'm not going to hold it long, because I don't want to blow this thing up. And the meters aren't looking the best either. Anyway, John, I've got the same thing you do, buddy. You were booming in here, and I've been working on this Swan amplifier. And it was a total train wreck from beginning to end. I had to put a rectifier board in it, and all the metering circuits were blown up. The meter was gone, and I've got it working. And this is it, but it's not without issues. I've got to tame down one of the fans on it, and it's still got some issues. So anyways, conditions are getting better as it gets later. I wish I could have heard what Buddy and Cliff had to say. I missed both you guys. I couldn't hear you. But anyway, is this thing making noise? Doesn't look good on the meters. So we'll keep it going here. Charlie, let me know. W4MEC, W4DCS.
D4DCS, W4MEC. Okay, real good, Doug. Well, it sounds quite loud. I can hear the fans or whatever really in the background. So anyway, well, I looked at the rain gauge here after the net started. I forgot about that. In the last couple of days, I got 3.5 inches in the rain gauge, and the thing had been turned around into a bush. So I don't know. Yesterday and the day before, a lot of rain. We were praying like heck yesterday. I went down to get my daughter's loaner car. I gave my daughter that got a overheating issue, and they did something different at U-Haul, and they wouldn't rent me a trailer, even though I got a Suburban with 4-wheel drive and a 10,000-pound towing package. They said nope, not big enough. I said, well, I just rented one 2 months ago. Sorry. So I put it on a tow dolly and brought it up here and dropped it off. So it was a fiasco getting that yesterday. And I had to put 2 tires on that car down there, and my wife's in the Suburban praying like crazy, hoping we don't get rained on. So, and we didn't. We got it done. Let's see. John, I guess the first thing I would ask is I would have assumed you pulled both of those tubes before you turned it on and checked plate voltage and grid bias. I think you said as soon as you throw the plate on and went to 1,000 mils, that sounds like it had no bias whatsoever, cutoff bias. So I wondered if you did that. So, and yeah, Tom was right. I had a hard time getting those tubes to form up, and it did work. It raised it from flashing over at about 1,000 volts to flashing over at about 1,800, and I gave up after that. And I had it set up on a bench with a 4 kV variable power supply, so I finagled that thing for a week, and all I got was a a few extra 100 volts before the darn thing flashed over on me. So let's see what else they got here, buddy. I just looked at the KWS-1, and that is a 0 pot on the top of the chassis and a pot on the front. The ALC is definitely a pot on the front. The 0 pot is it's a pretty good sized pot. It's actually covering up some of the writing where it says ALC 0, like someone had changed it or replaced it with a bigger pot. So not sure if that's standard, but anyway, guaranteed 100% that is not a push button on the front panel. So okay. Let's see. Ghost Dope WN4PF. Oh, I'm running a ART-13, receiving on R398, translating on an 80-meter infed. WN4PFI, W4MEC.
W4MEC, this is WN4PFI and suches. Good afternoon to everyone. I am copying everyone here. Doug faded in and out, but I got most of his copy. It is 54 degrees here in Suches. We were 44 degrees this morning. We're heading down to the high 30s tonight. It is blackberry winter, if I remember correctly, this kind of cold weather. And we got over the last 3 days just shy of 5 inches of rain, which we're grateful to get. And don't know how that stacked up with everybody else. Hope you did get some rain. It had gotten very dry here. Again, the reason we don't plant any garden here until the middle of May is because of the kind of weather we are experiencing now. And the soil is not yet reached the correct temperature to put anything in the ground anyhow. Steve, I've got to go back to church in a little bit. I hope to stay here to the end of the next round, but if it goes long, Charlie, too, when you get here, I may not be here, but I'm going to try to stay till the next round. So back to you, Steve. I don't think there was anybody else after me. So from the tail, N4LQ, this is WN4PFI.
All right, Doug, N4PFI, this is N4LQ. Do we have any late check-ins? Alpha Papa, did somebody copy him?
Okay, Kilo Delta 4 Alpha Papa Papa.
Okay, Kilo Delta 4 Alpha Papa Papa. Go ahead and make a transmission and then turn it back to N4LQ. Okay, Don, copied that time. Got you tuned in a little bit better. 7300 sounds good. KD4APP. That makes 16 tonight. Pretty good sized crowd. Well, let's see. What's been going on here is I've been working on a SX99 Hallicrafters. I got a pile of old equipment here, and this thing looks beautiful. And the funny thing is, it actually worked. I turned it on, and of course the contacts were dirty and stuff like that, but nothing serious. The tubes are all Hallicrafter tubes, and they all test good. And I pulled it out and looked under the chassis, and nothing has been touched. No parts have been changed. Full of bumblebee capacitors and pink capacitors, and nothing is leaky, and all the voltages are right, and I'm just amazed at this crazy thing. But I don't know, early 1950s or whatever, and it still works with the original tubes. It's just amazing. I really do appreciate the regular big octal metal tubes. They seem to last a long time, and the little miniature tubes, the sockets always get dirty and noisy, and it seems like I always have to clean those. As far as 3-500s, I've got an amplifier that hadn't been used for a long time, and it was bad. And the guy that sold it to me thought it was good, but anyway, I had to replace it. It sounds like the same thing you got going there, John. And somebody told me that's supposed to know that if you don't use a 3-500 for a long time, it gets gassy and it dies. So that's what happened to this thing. Lack of use is a big enemy, and so is too much grid current, excuse me. So anyway, let's see, Buddy, your audio has got something going on there, and the way the band is, you were kind of weak here, so I had trouble copying. And Dave, I'm glad you got the 183D hooked up and running, and I'm sure you're enjoying the push-pull audio in there. So, and Glenn, you're extra loud here. You just about blew me out of the shack for some reason. Let's see here. Doug, W4DCS. The Ranger sound a little noisy there. I'm not sure. A lot of background noise, like it was audio turned up too high, something like that. Just a lot of fan noise or something. Otherwise, your signal strength is fine. So anyhow, let's go for another round. Over to Dave, WA4LLR, N4LQ.
All right, Steve, fine business, N4LQ, WA4LLR. And good afternoon or good evening to Don. My name's Dave. I'm up in Burnsville, North Carolina. Let's see, John, sorry about the amp issues. I hope you get that straightened out. And, Buddy, there was a little bit of strangeness on your audio there for a while, but it cleared up. Let's see here. Glenn, I agree with Steve. You're one of the strongest signals I'm hearing. That DX100 must have help. It's really loud. And Larry, the D104 sounds really good, so I think you got a good deal there at the Ham Fest. And Doug, yeah, it sounded like the audio was cranked to the max on that Ranger, so I don't know if you had it cranked or if there was something else going on, but it was extremely loud and almost distorting. Charlie, 3.5 inches of rain, and Doak, I think you said you had 5 inches. Well, we only got, a quarter of an inch, a little over, maybe a third of an inch, something like that, so it danced all around us. Let me give you a few things that are going on. Space weather, sunspot count 77, solar flux index 152, and the K is 4.33, a little bit unsettled. On this day in history, 1970, National Guard killed 4 students at Kent State during a protest for the Vietnam War there. On this day in 1776, Rhode Island became the first colony to renounce allegiance to King George III. On this day in 1865, President Lincoln was buried. On this day in 1904, the United States officially acquired the Panama Canal and took over construction. On this day in 1916, Germany agreed to limit its submarine warfare. That didn't last long. And on this day in, let's see here, where is it? On this day in 1994, Yitzhak Rabin and Yasser Arafat signed an accord for Palestinian self-rule. Anyway, that's, oh my. Well, I'm going to go ahead and say 73 on this go-round because I've got to head back to church as well. I'll listen for a bit. Steve, thanks for calling it. And Lord willing, we'll catch up with you on Tuesday morning. So 7-3 and God bless. Here comes John, KZ4B, WA4LLR.
Okay, WA4LLR and the group KZ4B. Fine business there, Dave. Good signal as usual. We're copying you and Steve just fine. On the last go-round, I could not copy Buddy at all. I could tell conditions might be improving slightly toward the end, so maybe when I turn it over to Buddy, I'll be able to copy this time. As the evening wears on, we will see. But the two strongest stations today are Stan and Glenn, W4KR and N4AK. Conditions are lousy, and I've got the usual S9 noise level here. I live in such a noisy neighborhood. Appreciate the feedback. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I may stick a dropping resistor in the plate circuit and see if I can leave it on for a long time. I assume from the comments that just running filament voltage doesn't give me very good odds on getting the getter to remove the gas, that you need some plate current. Stan, you might elaborate on that, because I could not hear Buddy at all, so if he gave words of wisdom, I missed everything on the last transmission. But I will be playing with that amplifier. I'm a little hesitant to plug the two brand new tubes in just yet. I'm a little bit chicken. It's expensive. They're like $500 a pair if you can, unless you really get lucky. That's for graphite anode tubes, which is what I like to run. But anyway, I was surprised so far, knock on wood, it didn't arc, but it did draw at least 1,000 mils. So I'm assuming the tubes are gassy. And maybe I can resurrect them, maybe not. I think I'll pull them out and clean the envelopes just so they'll run cool, because they're very dusty. And try to leave it on for quite a while and see if they clear up any. So, Buddy, I'm going to pass it on over to you. WB4ARK and the group KZ4B. I hope you can hear me.
KZ4B, WB4ARK. I was seeing something on my audio there. It looks like I was getting some oscillation or something. I hope you're copying me now, but probably not. Anyway, I would not, I wouldn't stick anything in the plate circuit, and also I would not do anything other than pull the tubes. Cliff had a very good talk about what to do, and I would follow his suggestion, and maybe he could expound on that a little bit and see, give you a little bit more information. But there's nothing in electronics that is consistent. You just cannot take anything for granted, and I would not take for granted that those tubes are gassy unless I saw an arc inside the tube, and you didn't see that. So that's that. I'm going to say 73, and thanks, Charlie. We'll do some emails, but yeah, that little knob that controls the ALC on the lower left in the front, it's a click switch, 3 position, rotational switch. You rotate it to the left, it's off. Rotate it to the right, it's on when it's in place. But obviously you have a potentiometer there, so you have AFC control. We'll possibly wait to replace that AFC pack and went with the larger size, which is what they're using now. So everybody have a great upcoming week, and we will look forward to Tuesday. So over to Cliff, WB4NKL, WB4ARK.
WB4ARK, WB4NKL. Before you go, buddy, I don't know if you've seen that email to the old friends group. Bill N4LG has got some equipment he's wanting to sell, and in that bunch of stuff he had a ART-13 with the low frequency module, and he's in Lexington, and if you could work out some kind of, if that's the ART-13 you want, you might give him a call and see if you can work out something. I could probably pick it up on the way back from the Xenia Hamfest. So you copy that, buddy?
Yes, I did, and I will get in contact with him and check that out. When is Xenia over?
It's a week from this weekend, not this coming up weekend. 2 weeks from now, I'll be home. We'll be leaving there on that Thursday after next, heading up that way.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right. Yeah, I seen that, and I thought you might be interested in it. And John, usually when those tubes are gassy, you'll see some blue arcs, and they usually don't just settle down to 1,000 mils, so you might have something else going on there. The only thing that can make them pull that kind of current would be some positive bias, I would think, on the grid, so might look all that over pretty good. Let's see, not too much else going here. Larry, the D104 sounds like your other one. It sounds great, so you got a good one. It didn't get a sock in that one, as Dave says, where it's working good. And Doug, your audio, I think you come in there without any audio. You might have had something intermittent when you first tried to check in with no audio, and then you cranked it up, and then it went way too high. You're running way too much audio now. It needs to be brought back there some. I'll say 73's too, and about dinner time here, so I'll head on into the house. Enjoyed it. Thanks for calling it, Steve. Go ahead, Stan. W4KR, WB4NKL.
Okay, Cliff. Very well. WB4NKL, W4KR. Well, something I didn't mention the first time around. Today I'm running the Viking 500 on this afternoon, and the receiver du jour today is a 75A2. I had the 303 working for a bit. 75A2 is in the in place now, and when I get finished playing with this one, why I think there'll be a Hammerlin that'll go in its place, and we'll give that one a whirl. Let me see, John. A lot of variables, John, in what you're trying to do. A lot of variables. We're not even sure it's the tubes. It could be, John, as simple as something the resistor blew in the plate measuring circuit. It's hard to know, you know. It's you can't automatically assume it's the tubes, especially when they don't display anything copacetic. Anyway, that's kind of band conditions. Didn't talk about band conditions before. Strange today, very strange. Buddy, as the first transmission, you were barely above the noise. And Cliff was his usual 30 over 9. This last transmission, he was down close to the noise level, and you were rocking through. The only thing I can say is the comment was made that Glenn and I are the loud guys this afternoon. Must be this rarefied air here in Pickens and Corning County. God bless us all. With that, I'm going to turn it on to my neighbor and let him warm up the Pickens County end of the propagation path here. And 4AK, this is W4KR.
W4KR in the group in 4AK. And I have some more comments about the tubes. John, K1VVC, warned me about turning on these 3500s without first kind of warming up the filaments for a day or so. That's K1VVC, because my iMac tubes were 1980 vintage. 1980 vintage. And so I had a Variac. I put the tubes in the socket, and I had a Variac, and it just happens that the SB221 was wired for 220. So I started the Variac just so slow that I barely could see a glow on the filaments. And then for the first day, I'd ease up a little bit, and finally, after about 24 hours, I had it at full voltage, and I ran it probably another 24 hours, and that also kind of cooked in the capacitors and reformed them. So K1VVC probably saved me on the 3-500s about warning me about kind of cooking the filaments in before you hit plate voltage. So I don't know what it's all about, but all I know is it worked for me. And Jimmy, your signal's very nice off the Cobra today. And Charlie, sorry about all your problems with your daughter's car. Is there not a son-in-law somewhere in this scene that you could lay all these problems on? Anyway, so much for that. Anyway, good luck, John. We'll be listening to see your end results anyway. Great meeting with all you fellas this afternoon. Always interested in these problems with these amplifiers. WF2U N4AK.
Yeah, very good, Glenn. N4AK and the group WF2U. Well, so far everybody went up in signal strength at least between 5 to 10 dB. So it looks like as we progressing into the evening, of course the band is improving. So it was a nice big group. Anyway, everybody after me here, Larry and Mark and let's see, FJQ was S9, probably it's more now, and JL Jimmy was also peaking to 9 before, Doug 9, Charlie were 10 over 9, and Doak S9, and Dan, who just joined us here, KZ4 APP, was S7. That might be improving also. Anyway, Dan, nice to hear another check-in here. The name here is Meir Mike Echo India Romeo, and I'm in northern Greenville County in South Carolina, just outside the city of Landrum. So with that, it goes to Larry. I'm sure your signal will be much stronger now. WB4NKM and the group WF to you. I'll say 73 to everybody, but I'll be listening to the formal dismissal of the net.
Larry, can I make a comment in 4AK?
Go ahead, Glenn.
Yeah, sorry. I meant to remind him that a couple of people like Heathkit, they use a choke on the grid, the choke to ground, a crazy configuration. So just be sure that you actually have grounded grid and not kind of some little circuit to ground before the grids go to ground. That's my comment. And for AK, over to you, Larry. Thank you.
Okay, Glenn, no problem. And band conditions up here are getting better too, but that comes with some phase distortion. I'm getting some of that. It's not like it's normal, but maybe we'll get through that. I've enjoyed being in here this afternoon and today. Copying everybody, it's just not normal, but it's getting that way. And we'll say 73s for now, and look forward to talking to y'all again. We're doing okay on this end, slowly recovering, but we're making it pretty good. Been catching up on some inside hobbies. Down to you, Mark. KG4IUQ, WB4NKM.
Thank you very much, Larry. I've switched radios. I was on the multi-LMAC AS68 with the transmitter. Now I've switched over to my Bandmaster Senior, the TBS-50C, because I'd like to see what the carbon microphone sounds like. I discovered that Steve is recording this, so I want to hear it, so I put this transmitter up. Gordon Baker of Dandridge, Tennessee, gave me this transmitter. He was an old friend of mine, and he gave me this, and I got it to working. I'm just wondering how it sounds. Today, I went to church, had a good time, played a little music. Me and my wife were ready to go out and eat some fish at a restaurant afterwards. And I've done a little yard work today. Been an enjoyable day so far. Okay. I'm going to turn it over now to Tom at WA4FJQ. This is KG4IUQ.
KG4IUQ, this is WA4FJQ. Okay, Mark, your audio sounds good. And the second transmitter, your signal is stronger here in High Point. This QTH is awfully noisy, and I echo Stan's comments about the weird conditions on the band today. Stan will come in really strong, Glenn really good, and then just drop out. But at any rate, enjoyed the net, and that's good enough for me today, so we'll say 73s. Steve, thanks for calling the net as usual, and I'll turn it down to Jimmy, K4JAL. This is WA4FJQ, off.
WA4FJQ, K4JAL. Very good, Tom. Larry, if you're still listening, I guess you turned your rig off, but I tried, that three-piece chicken dinner you gave me in Greenville, I tried to pass it on to John down at the old friends meeting. He didn't understand it. I think being from Brooklyn or somewhere up there might have had something to do with that. Anyway, over to you, Doug. W4DCS, K4JAL, 73, guys.
Okay, Jimmy. K4JAL, W4DCS. I cut back the audio on this thing. Hopefully it sounds a little bit better. Anyways, I won't hold it here. It's been a long one, good one. Band has improved quite a bit. So, Steve, thanks for calling it. And Charlie, here you go. W4MEC, W4DCS.
Okay, Doug, and a W4DCS and group W4MEC. Yeah, that was an improvement on the noise, so I guess it was a little hot. I guess there's a balance between how high you got the D104 amplifier versus how high you got the mod on the rig there, because you can have them out of whack, and the D104 is picking up your neighbor's toilet flush, you know. So anyway, so won't hold it. Yeah, John, like a couple people mentioned, that 1,000 mils and it not flashing over kind of indicates the tubes are not gassy. You said you didn't see any blue either. So if they're not flashing over and you got 1,000 mils, it's either the meter circuit or you got bias problem, cut-off bias problem. So I'd look a little deeper before I did anything else. So on the voltage-wise, anyhow. So let's see, and that's it for me too. And I will. Doak said he was not going to be there. I don't know if Don is still there. It sounded like he left too. But I'll send it to Don, and if not, Steve, you pick it up. 7-3 all. We'll see you on Tuesday morning. What was it? KD4? I forgot. K-4 APP in the group. W4MEC.
Okay, thanks there.
All right, very good. KD4 APP, thanks for checking in with us there, Don. And come back again. All right, well, it's been a good net, and appreciate all 16 people for checking in. Looking forward to tonight at 8 o'clock on 160 on 1864 KC's lower sideband, if you can make it. And then, of course, our next AM net will be here on 3715 this coming Tuesday at 8 a.m. and on Thursday at 8 a.m. 73s, this is N4LQ clear.